trying to remember everything I want to say. I feel like there's so much. I haven't done this in a minute. Like, I was really planning on getting my next video out just about a week after my other one. Clearly that didn't happen. It's been like a month, and I just honestly, in full transparency, I just want it to be good enough. I feel like the message behind this book and what I want to talk about is so deep and is so profound. Honestly, it's like inexplainable for me to even sit here and try to explain it. But here, I'll show you guys the book. So this is The Voice of Knowledge. This one's actually pretty big. As you can see, I have my little like sticky notes in there. This one, when I read it, it felt like it was like very important, almost like a staple. Like, this has a lot of knowledge and information in it that I find is very important. And so I think that's why it's taken me so long to like make this video and put it out there, because I want it to give the same feeling that I had when I read it. And it's hard, and I think maybe sometimes I put a little bit too much pressure on myself to make it quote unquote perfect, but I think it will be perfect no matter how I do it. And so I've already tried filming this twice, and it didn't really come out the way that I wanted it to. And that voice in my head that's telling me that it's not good enough and that I want to do it justice, that's pretty much what this book talks about. So I left my computer behind me. I wrote down, I have like 7 pages, I'm not even gonna lie to you, of just what I wanted to say, what I wanted to talk about in today's video. And I've been trying to figure out how I can basically just say all of this without me staring at my computer, and I haven't really found a easy way for me to figure out how to do that. So I'm just gonna do my best reading from my computer, but just know that I wrote it all, and it's everything that I want to say. So I want it to have that authentic feel. I want you to feel like I'm talking directly to you. At the same time, I do kind of struggle to memorize everything, but I have read this so many times, so I think I have a pretty good gist of exactly what I want to talk about. Yeah, anyways, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being here and for indulging in what I want to share and opening your mind up, even if it's a little bit, just to kind of have a different perspective on life, especially if you're struggling or suffering or miserable in any kind of way. Let's get into it. I'm gonna read. Again, I'm really sorry if I'm like looking down at my computer. I will be pausing to talk about some things a little bit more because I just want to. I feel like some of these things are really important. They need to be touched on a little bit more than what I have written. And that gives me a good chance to just kind of be genuine with you guys. Okay, this is getting long. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna start reading. Fuck this. Fuck this. I'm sorry, guys. This is really hard for me. It's really hard. And I'm just being so honest because I literally already said this is gonna be raw and real. This is so hard for me because I want it to come across the way that it felt to me. And that's why, like, I will keep saying it in every single video. I highly recommend that you read the books, because there's just no way that I can, unless I made my whole channel about me reading the books, which I could absolutely do. So like, if you're interested in that, if you want like an audiobook of all of the books, at least that I have, I could do that, and I would do that. I would put in the time and effort to do that. But unless you like fully read the book for yourself, these are only like the main topics that I have like picked from. Like, it's a whole book, it's a whole bunch of words, and I'm narrowing it down into a however long this video is going to be. And it's just I'm afraid that it's not going to do it justice, but I know that there's still a message there that I can share, and that's what keeps pushing me. And like that voice that tells me to keep going, that is my authentic true self. That's who you really are. That person, that part of you that wants to, the part of you that loves, the part of you that likes things, that gets happy, that gets excited, like, that's who you really are. And yeah, any voice in your head that tells you otherwise, that is not who you are. I've struggled a lot with the voice of knowledge. The negative thoughts, the self-pity, the feelings of not being worthy or not being good enough because you're different or you're in different circumstances. Like, it almost becomes like a constant battle, and I think that battle is always there between like the part of you that knows who you are and the part of you that is like leached in by society. It makes me really emotional because there's so many people that struggle with seeing their own worth, and I was one of those people, and I still struggle with it even after learning these things. But I know that learning these things has helped me more than anything in the world, and it frustrates me because I want to be able to share it in a beautiful way. And ultimately, I just want to share this, and even though this video is already 12 minutes long and it's not perfect, part of me really wants to leave a lot of this in because it's genuine and it's real, and I'm not putting up a front and faking that I'm this, person who's mastered themselves, but I have definitely made it so much further than I was before, and I find purpose in every single day, and I know that time is valuable and it's special, and the time that I have today to do whatever I want is crucial and important. And I could lay in bed and do nothing like I honestly want to, but ultimately I know that this is what my soul wants and what my soul needs, and it's important that we create. I mean, we are the ultimate creators. We create our reality and our whole life just by our mindset and the way that we look at things and our perspective. So this is my way of creating, and I just have to sometimes come back and remind myself that, because there are moments when I forget, and there have been moments that I forgot multiple times while filming this, that this is what this is about: the authenticity, the raw, and the realness. Okay, so I'm gonna start reading it from the beginning because I want it to be cohesive, and I know that I've stopped multiple times in between reading, and I will keep all of those parts of me just actually talking, but now I am going to read, and I'm just gonna be patient with myself and give myself the benefit of the doubt, because I know that, it can be difficult, but I'm still doing it, and I'm proud of myself. All right. I've been sitting on this video for a minute, not because I didn't want to make it, but because I care so much about it. This book, The Voice of Knowledge by Don Miguel Ruiz, really opened something in me. It made me question where the voice in my head came from, the one that tells you you're not good enough, that you're falling behind, that you need to do more, be more, look a certain way. And lately I've been hearing that voice louder than usual, telling me I'm not ready to talk about this, that I don't have the right mic or the right setup or a team or whatever, telling me that this video won't be good enough. But that's the exact thing this book teaches us to unlearn. That voice is a lie. That voice is something we were taught, not who we are. So I'm showing up anyway. I'm filming this on my phone with no mic, no crew, just me, you, and the truth. This episode isn't going to be polished or pretty, but it will be real, and that's what this is about. It's about peeling back the layers of noise in our minds and getting back to who we really are underneath all that. The love, the light, the power, the potential that we already have. If you have ever struggled with negative self-talk, shame, people-pleasing, perfectionism, or just feeling like you're never enough, this one's for you. Okay, so let's talk about something that really flipped my brain upside down: the way this book retells the story of Adam and Eve. We've all heard the version where Eve eats the forbidden fruit and suddenly it's like shame enters the world. Sin, guilt, all that. But the way Don Miguel Ruiz tells it, it's not about sin. It's about the moment we stopped seeing ourselves through the eyes of the truth and started listening to the voice of knowledge. In this version, the tree of knowledge doesn't just give you information, it teaches you to judge, to compare, to separate good and bad, So when Adam and Eve take a bite, it's not that they become evil, it's that they become self-conscious. For the first time ever, they feel shame. Not because they are bad, but because they start to believe they are. And that, right there, is the first lie. And if you really think about it, isn't that how it happens to us? We're born just existing, just being. But eventually we learn what we should be, what's pretty, what's smart, what's successful, what's worthy. And anything outside of that, we start to reject ourselves. We feel ashamed. That hit me really hard because I started thinking about when I took that bite. You know, when was the first time I stopped seeing myself as whole and started believing I had to become more or look different or prove myself to be loved? And maybe you're thinking about that moment yourself right now too. But here's the thing, that voice that told us those lies, that voice isn't ours, and it's not the truth. The truth is, we've always been enough. We've always been worthy. We've just been taught to forget. It reminds me of that quote from Dead Poets Society. Robin Williams says, "No matter what anybody tells you, words and ideas can change the world." And the words we use, especially the ones we say to ourselves, shape our reality. They either bring us closer to love or further into fear. This quote is actually the reason I am sitting here today. I believe my words and ideas have the potential to have an impact because I chose to unlearn and unidentify with the voice that told me it wasn't possible, that I wasn't good enough. My friends are blowing up my phone. I'm trying to film. Like, guys, maybe it's my fault. I actually really should put my phone on Do Not Disturb, but I'm not doing it now. Moving on, there's a line in the voice of knowledge that really stuck with me, and it's this idea that we are perfect. Not when we get to... Sorry. Not when we get our life together perfect, not once we grow up or prove ourselves perfect. I mean right now, already, exactly as we are. And that probably sounds weird to hear because we've been taught the opposite since we were kids. We're told nobody's perfect, like that it's just a fact, like imperfection is built into being human. But really, that phrase is just a way to normalize self-rejection. People say it like, oh well, I guess I'll never be good enough, but that's fine because no one is. And the book makes you realize that's not true. That's a belief. That's a lie we agreed to. The truth is, perfection isn't about being flawless. It's about being whole. It's about being real, alive, connected to the present, to your heart, to who you really are beneath all the noise. There's a quote from the book that says, "We are born in truth, but we grow up believing in lies." And one of the biggest lies is this: I am not enough as I am. I've spent so much time in my life thinking there was something wrong with me, thinking I had to fix something in me to be worthy of love or success or happiness, like there was always some new version of me that I had to chase. But what I've been learning and still reminding myself every single day is that nothing outside of me will ever complete me because I was never incomplete. Maybe the only flaw we ever had was believing we were flawed in the first place. And that's what I want you to think about. Who would you be without the belief that something is wrong with you? If this resonates with you and you needed to hear this today, I want to invite the idea that you are not broken. You never were, you're not behind, you don't have to earn your worth, it's already in you. Once you start seeing how many of your thoughts and beliefs were handed to you, not chosen by you, it's kind of wild. You start asking, wait, who told me this about myself? Who told me I wasn't enough? Who told me to hide, to shrink, to be quiet, to always please other people? And when you trace it back, it's almost always someone else's pain, someone else's fear, someone else's lie that got passed down to you as truth. The book teaches us that we've made thousands of agreements in our lives, with parents, with teachers, with society, even with ourselves. And most of them are unconscious, but the beautiful thing is we can break those agreements. We can unlearn the lies, we can make new agreements, ones rooted in truth and love. Here are some of the common lies a lot of us carry around. I have to look a certain way to be lovable. If I make a mistake, I am a failure. I am too much. I am not enough. I have to earn my worth by being productive. I should be further along by now. I've believed most of these at some point, and maybe you have too, but they are not truth. They are just agreements we've been trained to make, and we have the power to let them go. So how do we actually do that? How do we start unlearning? It starts with awareness. Every time that voice in your head says something harsh or cruel, pause. Ask yourself, is this my voice or is this someone else's I picked up? Then ask, is it even true? You can also speak new truths to yourself, even if you don't fully believe them yet, because the truth, it's already in you. You're just remembering it. Some of the new truths I've been learning to say to myself: I am already enough. I don't need to earn my worth. I don't have to be a certain way to be lovable. My voice matters. It's safe to be seen. The voice of knowledge is loud, but the voice of truth, it's quiet. It feels peaceful. It doesn't shame you or scare you. It reminds you of who you really are, of what you've always been. A belief I'm personally trying to unlearn right now is the idea that I have to prove myself through how productive I am. I am replacing it with, I am valuable even when I rest. I want to touch on a few more ideas from the book. Ruiz would describe how most of us live with a wounded mind, infected by a parasite, which is all the lies, judgments, and emotional poison we've collected over time. This parasite feeds on fear, shame, guilt, and rejection, and keeps us in a cycle of suffering. The more we identify with the voice in our head, the stronger the parasite gets. We can't fully heal until we stop feeding it with our belief. You are not your wounds, you are not your trauma, you're not your mistakes, you are the one watching all of that, and that watcher, that's the real you. The book also talks about returning to our innocence, the childlike curiosity and freedom we had before we started judging ourselves. We're not meant to live in constant fear and seriousness. We're meant to create, express, explore, and play. Before the voice of knowledge got loud, we were just kids, curious, weird, playful, unfiltered. That energy is still in us. It didn't go anywhere. We just forgot. Maybe the real awakening isn't about becoming something new. Maybe it's about remembering who we were before the world told us who to be. Ruiz explains that truth lives in silence, not in the mind, not in the noise of thoughts or opinions, but in presence. When you're still, when you feel peace, that's your true self. The more you sit with yourself in silence, the more you reconnect with what's real. You don't need to go looking for truth in other people's opinions. You don't need to overthink your way into healing. The truth is already in you, and you can hear it in the quiet, in those moments when everything just feels still. That's you. That's your real voice. If you've made it this far, I want to thank you. I want to leave you with something you can actually do this week. Every time you catch yourself thinking something negative about yourself, pause and ask, whose voice is this? Do I want to keep believing this? What's the truth I want to live instead? You can even write it down. Make a list of all the beliefs you are ready to release, and then burn that shit. Rip it up, let it go. And then every morning this week, say one truth to yourself out loud. Just one. Something simple like, I am enough. I don't have to prove anything. I'm allowed to be whole. My voice matters. It's safe to love myself. This episode wasn't just about a book. It was about remembering something most of us have forgotten. You were born whole. You're not broken. And that voice that tells you otherwise, that voice is lying. You don't have to believe it anymore. You're allowed to believe in yourself instead. So go, live your truth, be messy and loud and honest and soft and strong. Seize the day and don't let anyone, not even your own mind, tell you otherwise. The last thing that I want to touch on before I end this is the lie of our imperfection. It's one chapter in the book, and I think it is the most important chapter of all. I think it's so important because I can't tell you how many times I have heard people use the term that no one is perfect and that nothing is perfect, and using this as justification for or validation for not thinking that you're good enough. And I think it's so normalized to say and think that nothing and no one is perfect. But I just want you to think about the idea that maybe everyone is perfect, and the only flaw that you may have is believing that you are not, believing that you are not worthy of being perfect. And perfection is not about being flawless. It's not about being something so clean, you know? I mean, it's just about accepting who you are as you are in every moment. And once you do that, I promise you, so much of the stress of your life will go away. A lot of these thoughts and beliefs that we have about ourselves are adopted ideas and beliefs and opinions from other people, and those people have never lived your life. They've never spent a day in your shoes, and they have no idea what it's like to live in your body. So for you to take on their opinions of you as your own is so unfair to yourself, because they have no idea what it's like. That's like if you're like a lawyer and you're taking advice from a doctor. Like, they have no idea what it's like to be a lawyer. Why would you listen to them? Anyways, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about today. But I really thank you so much for clicking on this video. It means more to me than you could ever know. Please comment something if you have any like criticism for me, constructive criticism, or just any ideas, anything you want to see from me. Please let me know. I am working on getting a mic and hopefully a camera soon. And yeah, hopefully I will have another video out next week, around this time, I'm praying. But just be patient with me if it doesn't happen, you know, and be patient with yourself too, because there's no need to put pressure on ourselves for anything. We have so much time, and yet just use it wisely, you know? Okay, love you guys.